This party station, surviving R. Kelly is the big deal that's out there right now. Everybody is talking about it. It's brand new to some, and some folks knew and just decided to turn a blind eye. So now the blind eye is under the microscope.
Thank
I
God.
think a lot of people that knew didn't really know the extent of it, knew how bad, how many victims, and kind of how much of a predator he really was.
Do you think with social media now, the way it is now, this is going to become a big thing again?
Yes.
I hope so.
Absolutely.
You really think so?
I hope so. I hope he never tours again. Yeah, I hope he goes to jail. I hope more women come out with these stories. I never knew it was this bad.
And now with social media and everything, that's how you get traction. That's how all of these women that at one point were silenced, now they have a voice. And now it's like that snowball effect where like more people are talking about it, more people are looking into it.
Yeah.
This is probably one of the, I don't want to say with Bill Cosby, and there was always rumors of what he was doing because people had joked about it forever.
Yeah.
And it didn't make it. And it wasn't until Hannibal Buress said something and somebody tweeted it.
It took off.
And then it took off from there. And the same thing with Harvey Weinstein. People knew that stuff forever.
Mhm.
But it wasn't until somebody made the joke on the stage at the awards to then somebody tweet it, and then that. So the Twitter sphere brings a whole different fire to it.
And on top of that, it was talking about how many of these celebrities and how many of like the people that he worked with refused to help, right? How many people were almost like complacent with it, from Jay-Z to a number of people. But now with the resurfacing of this, now you have artists like Chance the Rapper saying, I wish I never worked with him. You have artists like John Legend being in the documentary saying, this didn't seem risky for me at all. So their celebrity and that push gives it more momentum.
So now my question is for the folks, because here's the deal. Like when it happened, and it happened in '08, when that whole fallout happened, when he was found not guilty, a lot of people were like, okay, so he's been absolved.
Yeah.
And it just
I felt like it
went
didn't
away.
happen, potentially.
I mean, a lot of people were like, they were unaware. Like, if it was so lock and key, how the hell is he still out? So it had to be some. Because here's one thing I will say about because everybody's having the question, and Jada Pinkett is on Good Morning America this morning talking about, why is it that these girls didn't matter? And so the question of, is it just because these are little black girls has come about and all that stuff? And so you have to speak to it because it is a preponderance of African-American young women for over 20 years that nobody, spoke up about. But it's an entire thing where it wasn't just that, although that has a part of it. Because there, I believe, in my heart, there was a payoff.
From the family?
The family that was involved in the video.
Yeah, you can see that in the documentary.
On the documentary, they said they went up there and all, lined up in court and said that wasn't
her daughter in the video.
Right.
The mom said that wasn't her daughter.
But Sparkle is there saying, no,
That's my
honestly,
niece.
that was my niece. I brought my niece in.
Right.
I know what her haircut was like and all that other stuff. And she had no idea why her brother and her parents were saying it.
Even the 16-year-old went on trial. She was 16 at the time. She was like, no, I had sex with R. Kelly. I was 16 at the time with this kid that was 14
And I know
in the
her
video.
body.
I know her body.
Yeah.
We slept together several times with R. Kelly. I know who I was with.
But there's one part of this whole thing that I do recognize, and there's a few of those, but there isn't a rush to believe when the world says an icon in the African-American world did something, because of the whole conspiracy of people setting up folks and deciding to tear them down, and you know what I'm saying? So there's no rush to judgment immediately with it when it's just in the African-American community. So sometimes it has to hit the mainstream to
Trend.
get everything.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta hit Lifetime.
But yeah.
I've never
Gotta
watched
hit
Lifetime so
Gotta
much.
hit Lifetime. Which is weird because Lifetime did the Aaliyah story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like back in the day when they did that movie. So I mean, people who watched Surviving R. Kelly, what did you think? And how do you move forward? Because we've talked a lot of people have talked about separating people from their art.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson is a big thing.
Mhm.
Elvis Presley.
Mm-hmm.
Some people who had the same kind of
Very
weird
similar.
proclivities and everything. Kevin Spacey, you won't let me wear my Kevin Spacey
Yeah,
shirt
you
no
gotta
more.
burn that thing.
You know, now I'm wearing a cat on my shirt. I love that Kevin Spacey shirt, but Frank Underwood, that was a character. Can I not support that character? You guys say no.
That's a good question. I would like to see this if it does turn out this way. Remember Bill Cosby, that situation? There was only a few women at first, and then the snowball effect just happened.
Yeah.
In this documentary, there's 8 different women with different stories talking about R. Kelly. So I hope more women come out. And
I mean, now with Bill Cosby, too, we all thought some of them, hey, some of them could be, in for money. But when the numbers get that high, you start realizing there is like a common denominator
all
there.
very similar,
and
but
then
different.
we always going to go back to who married Aaliyah.
Right. And for
Like
me,
that's the big thing right there.
in the past, it was always about him. What did he do? What did he know? What was going on with R. Kelly? But now with this resurfacing of it, it's like the women's voice.
Yes.
It's their opinion. It's you hearing their
It's
experiences
heartbreaking.
And now
firsthand.
this gets unfoiled on social media, and with this new machine that we have around here to push it around,
Yeah.
because that makes this whole thing different.
Mhm.
Like before, it was just word of mouth. I mean, that tape got around, and that tape had to be on regular tape. Imagine if the internet was popping the way that it is now with socials. It would have been so big that it would have had to go away.
And like, you're not hearing from lawyers at this point. You're hearing from like the clip from the lady that he met at the mall. Like, I believe her. Like, you could just hear that emotion in her where it's like, yo, we're not making this up.
Check this out.
Leslie Martinez from Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. I was a typical teenager. I was at the Aventura Mall with some girlfriends, and I see someone, a really tall guy, wearing sunglasses. So I said to my friend, "Oh, I think that's R. Kelly." And she's like, "Why would he be at the mall?" And I said, "No, that's him." And he heard me, and then he turned around, and I was kind of starstruck. Here's this person in front of me that I think is like the world. And he walked up to me and gave me a hug, and I kind of I was kind of frozen. And then he said he was recording an album. I said, "Okay, nice to meet you," and he left. But then his bodyguard came back and handed me his phone number and said, "R. Kelly would like you to call him." My best friend was with me, and she said, "Liz, this is your big break. Like, you better call, or I'm going to call for you." For me, singing was always an outlet, and I planned on having a career. So I called, and he said, "Well, I'd like you to come to dinner with us." My girlfriend said, "Let's get your makeup and hair done now. This is it. You're going to make it."
This is crazy.
Ooh.
Like, it's crazy. I mean, like, somebody just wrote in on the 1-800 Ask Gary text line. They said the people around him should be held accountable.
100%.
The people
More
who-
people than just him. Everybody that watched this and helped this situation go on as long as it has, and it's still currently going on, it seems.
Out of the 941, it says, wait, I just updated. It says, what I'm having issue with are the people who are bringing up other celebrities while talking about him, also blaming young girls for falling for a predator.
No, well, that's part of being a predator. You want to get somebody, male or female, that are innocent enough. They don't have as much life experience, so they just end up falling in love with a celebrity who they think is their icon, and they grow up loving their entire life, their young life.
This is, it's sad to see all of these girls had to go through that, and I will say some of them. I mean, I know some people have abstained from saying it, but parents who allowed their kids to be around this were also culpable. Now, there weren't a lot of the parents. Some of the parents, the kids went on their own, but some parents just decided to allow him access to their kid, thinking that he didn't have any bad intentions, and that went left as well.
That they'd be
you gotta
protected.
be an ultimate protector of your children, and just don't trust. At that point, don't trust anybody.
And
with
people
their
get
kids.
blinded with the money. You see the glitz
You saw,
and
it
the
with
glamour.
you saw it with Michael Jackson, where people allowed kids to stay, and you're like, well, how would they allow a kid to stay?
Well, there's
you
a
know?
circus in
Yeah.
the backyard.
Yeah.
Why not?
Right, yeah.
Oh,
He got
hello.
money. Yeah, man has a llama, or whatever. I mean, it's like, has a Ferris wheel or whatever. So, I mean, it was a heartbreaking thing to watch. I didn't feel I needed to watch it because I was just out of my internship in radio when that happened, coming from the Chicago area. So I was the person down here saying, hey, it's this dude R. Kelly, he's dope, kind of thing. Because I saw him on Big Break as a kid where he won the $100,000 and everything. So it's just it's heartbreaking when you actually see it, because once I did see it, I was like, man, this is way too much information together.
Everybody listening
right
that
now.
hasn't seen the documentary, you should 100% just take a little bit of time and watch this because it will move you.
Do you think anything happens from here? Like, does this start anything? Because, like, with Harvey Weinstein, it was started with a joke. Like, you know, it didn't start, but the interest.
And Bill Cosby started with a joke. This is the joke. A Lifetime documentary is the joke. And it starts with that, probably. I don't know where it goes to, because his money is already, like, people aren't streaming him. The research, I will tell you, like, we play one R. Kelly song, or we played, I guess I should say, before the documentary dropped, one song, and that was Ignition.
Which I know every single word to.
Because Ignition
sadly.
is, and I mean, somebody else, I think I saw Amanda text this morning, goodbye, Ignition. It's like, wow, that was my favorite song. And then she's like, goodbye. But research-wise, and we're talking research of, like, last year, that was one of the top, like, gold songs that we had of women between the ages of 18 and 54.
Yeah, that's a go-to in, like, my wedding set. Like,
For
that'll
sure.
get everybody off the go.
Yeah, but does it stay now?
A radio station's going to play it?
Does it stay now?
I mean,
on your set, if they come to you and say, Davi,
Oh.
I am married now, and I want you to do my anniversary party, and can you play R. Kelly, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I don't tell you. It's come true. Hell yeah, you playing that, of course.
Yeah. Why not? They're
you're
cutting
still
the
playing,
check.
and you're still playing Michael Jackson, and you're still playing like a lot of people with questionable lyrics and questionable morals.
Yeah. So I would do your questionable part. All right, man.
Makes you feel.
Is it still gonna be like a song that gets played on the radio?
If people, we don't run the jukebox. We play what the people like. So if people don't like it, they fall off, and they're like, yo, stop, cut it, then we cut it, you know. But I mean, I can make those rules, but I can only make those rules if it's really gonna be real, based off of what people out there think and who tell us. You know what I mean? So it has to be about.
And by the way, pedophilia isn't just with R. Kelly. Like, there's a lot of underground stuff in Hollywood that's been happening for a very long time, and now it's finally coming to light. Just little snippets.
Okay.
It's true.
I mean, the Beatles, Elvis, that money's still going. Nobody say nothing about that.
How old was his wife?
The Beatles and the Elvis.
Yeah,
I didn't know about the Beatles.
The Beatles and the Elvis were. What?
Yeah.
What were they
Elvis
doing?
and Priscilla Presley.
Yeah.
Priscilla was-
Elvis met her in France and brought her to United States to live with him as a teenager.
How old was she?
She was like 16.
She was real young.
She was like
Elvis?
16. Yeah. And
What did the Beatles do?
And the Beatles had in their song they said she's 17, if you know what I mean. Blah blah blah. They was ready to say that.
Man, and all that just went right over everyone's heads.
Yeah, it was a young girl. She was 17, if
Rock,
you know what I mean. That
rock
was in one of their
stars
songs.
in songs have a lot of 16. She's only
Jerry
16.
Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old cousin.
I mean,
The Big Bopper did that. He married somebody that was like 12 or 13.
Yeah, now they going there. See, I ain't mentioned them to you because I knew that would confuse you. But there's been a lot of freaky people that's still been allowed to eat.
Dobby, how are you a DJ?
Yeah,
the Big Bopper has never come up.
Big Bopper, yeah. We'll explain it to you. So he was on the La Bamba plane. Yeah, you know.
Okay.
Like, yeah, yes. I mean,
Okay.
You got to put it in movies for that.
I'm sorry. My bad.